Hello, so today we have the pick a card theme of message from your ancestors, or who were your ancestors also. So it's kind of like, I'm gonna go over their personality traits here, and then I have more cards to clarify what they want you to know. So for pile 1, we have the spooky owl. For pile 2, we have this like donkey slash horse. I want to say it's a donkey just because I saw horses there and I'm like, they don't look like that one, but I'm not sure about the anatomy difference. And for the third one, we have the piggy. And for the fourth one, we got a doge. So, yeah, I'll give you a moment to meditate on your piles, mute it if the music is distracting to you. And yeah, I'll see you at your pile selection. Hello, those of you who selected pile number 1 with the owl. This is your reading. Alright, sorry. We have porcupine, the moth, and the hawk. So the first couple of cards are going to describe their personality, and then the next cards will describe kind of what they want you to know. So we have Neptune and the moon. Have Messiah in reverse, Trickster, the healer, the destroyer, the gossip in reverse, and then the beggar. So the Messiah in reverse talks about someone who thinks that like they're the end all be all, who thinks that like a project can't be finished without them. Exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed. So maybe they had a bit of an ego thing happening. The trickster, transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. So this was someone who did not like routine. They were kind of spontaneous. The healer, passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and spirit, ability to help transform pain into healing. So I'm getting that this was like someone who is maybe they helped people, but they got kind of like an inflated sense of self because of it. You have destroyer, releasing what is potentially destructive, preparing for a new life. The gossip in reverse thrives on power of passing on private or secret information, betraying confidences. And then the beggar confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival, awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. Okay. So maybe this was someone who had like an inflated sense of self, either because of their healing abilities or not, or maybe when I get someone with like, you know, a bad ego and gossip in reverse, it just makes me think of like, you know, the popular kids. It makes me think of the movie Mean Girls. To just like think you're amazing, or at least, well, I mean, to have an inflated ego and to have good self-esteem are really kind of different. So I feel like because you have like the beggar and the destroyer, I feel like they eventually learn their lesson or they change their ways. And maybe they began healing people after that. The trickster also makes me feel like maybe they just started like getting bored. And that's kind of why they you know those people that get bored and then they start up drama. But then yeah, I feel like after a while the drama thing got kind of tired and they were like, well, now I'm bored of that. And eventually there was like the death of that ego. You also have Neptune, which is about like deception, and then you have the moon, which is emotions. Maybe this was a very emotional person. Maybe they kind of like hid their true feelings from other people. The moon is Cancer and Neptune is Pisces, so maybe that's like a watery situation. Very intuitive. With Neptune also, sometimes people like to call Pisces or, you know, Neptunians, people with heavy Neptune aspects, like liars or deceivers, but I feel like a lot of time people just project what they want onto them. And then when they don't get the image that they projected, they're like, oh, you're a liar, but this person might not have been a liar. And you do have the trickster card here, but it's not in reverse. So I feel like maybe people expected them to act one way and then they wouldn't. And they were like, oh, that person's like two-faced. Let spirit be your guide, surrender now, and time for beginner mind. So that makes me feel like they eventually like surrendered. Maybe they became like, you know those people that are like really mean and then they have like an awakening or whatever and then they turn to God. I feel like this might have been a person like that. Like they kind of they realized what they were doing was wrong and they kind of had a come to Jesus moment. Maybe not literally Jesus, but you know what I mean. And yeah, maybe they become like heavily based, and then especially with time for beginner mind, that makes me feel like a fresh start, which is accompanied by a death. So maybe this person was just like, you know, they were over this and they had an awakening and then they began to heal people. So 2 lessons that they want you to learn: protection and timeless. So okay, when I saw the protection card, it made me think of the moon and Neptune again, like hiding your emotions. I feel like they don't want you to be so open with people. Maybe you're someone who overshares, and because they've been the gossip before, because it says here like betraying someone's trust or sharing private and secret information. I feel like they've seen the damage that can do because they were the person who caused that damage. And so now they want you to like protect yourself from people like that. When you see like those energy vampires, those shitty people that just want to like talk shit all day, they're kind of telling you to like protect yourself. Timeless, I wonder what that's a message about. Maybe if I pull out more cards, I'll receive another one, but let me double check. Timeless. Timeless, untethered from time and never gets old. What stayed with you? So maybe lessons that are timeless. It also makes me laugh that it says never gets old, and then this one's like talking about avoiding boring behavior or like predictable behavior. So maybe they're trying to tell you to like have a little bit of fun, stop being so predictable, you know, go out a little bit. I know it's a little difficult for some people with the pandemic and everything, but I feel like they want you to have fun. Maybe you haven't been doing it. Guilt, grief, and abundance. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. And I am a limitless being, and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. So maybe you guys are holding guilt about something. It's also possible this is a message about their selves. Like maybe they felt guilty about something, or about like the gossiping or whatever was happening here that became really destructive, and so they're kind of telling you to like stay away from that, to not become that way. But it's also possible like you did something that caused you guilt and grief, and they're kind of telling you to like, kind of just saying it's okay, you know, and that you can manifest a different reality if you want it. You got the Hangman in reverse, and then the Hermit. Okay, so I'm getting the feeling that you're being kind of stubborn. You don't want to change your perspective. They clearly had a fucking 180 change in perspective here, so they're kind of telling you like to not, you know, to not stay in the stale mindset. Because the thing about the Hangman in reverse is that it's gonna happen. Your mindset's gonna change whether you want it to or not. The only difference is that if you wait it out, it'll come to you in an undesirable manner, so you might as well like have it done now than to have the universe sort your mind out in a negative way. And then the Hermit. If you are gonna be by yourself, isolated like a hermit, you can fucking at least do some soul searching in the process. Read something that'll add to your life. I don't know. Don't just like isolate yourself, basically. A new romantic cycle begins. Okay. That's a message. Then you have the Thunder. So the Thunder is about being yourself and good luck coming to you when you are yourself. So, just because I thought of Mean Girls earlier, it makes me think of like Katie here. Maybe you're in a Katie situation, but you're just being asked to be yourself. That good luck will follow with that behavior. The sleep is about sleeping on it. I feel like you have a decision. Usually it's a decision, but not necessarily. Maybe it's like stressed emotions, something, it's usually a decision though, but you're being asked to like sleep on it, to like not worry about it so much, to kind of, don't make any rash decisions, just kind of really think about it. Rest. You probably haven't been getting rest, and so they're kind of like inching you towards that, and telling you to really think about whatever it is that you're gonna decide. And then you have the Loop, which is about cycles, which is funny because timeless. I feel like you're gonna keep learning the lesson the hard way, until you finally, you know, you're like, okay, I got it this time, because I'm getting the feeling that you're like falling into the same pit hole. And so they're trying to teach you a lesson, so that you can remember it. It'll be timeless, basically. Like, it'll be good for the rest of your life. Stop talking. Shut your mouth and listen. So that makes me think of the gossip again. Maybe you're also falling into those gossipy things. But it also made me think of the Hermit, because the Hermit is a listener. They're trying to learn. They're trying to expand their soul's knowledge. So, so being told to like shut your mouth and listen. It could also be a message that like maybe, you know, whatever this choice is, whatever the situation is, you've been talking to your friends about it, or your family, and they all kind of tell you the same thing, and then you don't listen to them. You're like, I'm gonna do something else instead. And it's kind of like, just stop talking and listen to what the people around you are saying, because they have advice that is helpful. You got a feeling you just can't shake that little voice inside of you. Listen to that shit. So that's a message about like, I mean, these are pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I have to explain anything, but they're just telling you to like trust your gut a little bit more. And then this is a shadow card, kind of, so it doesn't actually have anything on it. So I have to actually read from the book. What number is that? 6. Falling from grace. Divine protection, so again another message of protection. Despair and healing, so maybe this ancestor is coming to heal you. Whether you feel like you have psychic abilities or not, rest assured you are being looked after by forces greater than all of us. So I feel like your ancestors are protecting you. Once you accept that beginnings and endings are inevitable, yeah, it's kind of like a loop again, but once you accept that beginnings and endings are inevitable, your life will flow again. If you have experienced major changes, it is okay to feel apprehensive and fearful. So again, with the Hangman in reverse, like you don't want things to change, you don't want things to like, you know, you don't want to shake anything up, but you're being encouraged to. They're saying like it's a good thing, like why would you want to keep things the same? However, this card suggests that you need nurturing in order to heal yourself and to let go of a closed chapter in your life. So maybe, yeah, like I'm not being told much about your situation. I'm just being given advice. So hopefully this advice is helpful to your situation. But here it's kind of saying like there's an ending to something, or there's something that's being changed and you don't want it to. And it's kind of saying like just kind of accept it and move on. Oh, okay, well, you may be grieving over a physical death, the death of a project, or the ending of a relationship, and so on. So maybe some of you that is a relationship thing, because it's saying like a new one is coming, but something happened and you're kind of upset about it. But please know that please know you and not abandoned. I think they meant are not abandoned. Okay. Sorry, I have dyslexia and like they didn't write the sentence properly, so it's like really messing with me. But please know you and not abandoned nor alone. Okay, so you were not abandoned nor alone. And the message here is a reminder that there is an angel protecting. Okay, so maybe you guys have like either this angel is your ancestor, or maybe like there is a deity or an actual angel that's like protecting your family. That's kind of just like part of it. Angels represent faith, hope, healing. Take some time and sit quietly and connect with their energy through meditation or visualization. The healing process is about to begin. Alright, so because you have like the beginning of cycles and the inability to let go of things, I feel like you're kind of being pushed gently to like move on, move forward, and they're kind of telling you to do it on your own accord, because if you don't, you're gonna be forced in a negative way to do it. Yeah, and then they're just kind of saying like you have angels there by your side, so they did encourage you to meditate with them. I don't know how you do your things in your life, or how you connect with other beings, if you do at all. But if you do, try to connect to them. Maybe you read tarot cards, so ask them questions, or maybe you're someone who connects through dreaming, so you're kind of being told to like whatever it is that you do, like try to connect with them, because maybe they'll offer you comfort or wisdom. But either way, you're protected, so you should be fine. Yeah, I hope that was helpful, kind of short. Thank you. On to the next pile. Hello, pile that selected. Number 2, hello pile number 2. Hello people that selected pile number 2. I can form a sentence. Here's a little horsey boy. This is your reading. So we're gonna go over kind of their personality first, and then we're gonna go over their advice to you. So we have the skunk spirit, know your worth. The lion spirit, be generous of spirit. Libra, Taurus, okay, and the sun. So right off the bat, I'm kind of getting like Leo vibes just because of the lion and the sun. I'm also picking up on Venus vibes. Like this person was really beautiful, really kind of like called the, kind of like the center of attention. Like even, I hate when people are like, oh, when they walked in the room, like everyone stared or their smile lit up the room, because that's like so corny and stereotypical. Like surely there's something else you can say about a dead person, but I genuinely feel like this person was the center of attention, because you have Libra, who's ruled by Venus, Taurus, that's ruled by Venus, the sun, we all know the fucking the solar system, you know, like we all revolve around the sun. Leo is the center of attention. It's also ruled by the sun. So it's just like major sun and Venus vibes. Venus is beauty, love, romance, even I'm just getting like with all these flowers, I think of like gardens too. So maybe they had like a really beautiful home also. They were just very lovely, very charming, and people just kind of like them. And even the skunk, like you don't think of the skunk as like an appealing animal, you know, like no one's like, oh, that's a cute skunk, but it says know your worth. Like the skunk spirit represents knowing your worth. Like I feel like this person knew what they were about, they knew they were the shit, they knew they were fucking pretty, and they were also very generous. They weren't like mean or stuck up about it, so that's nice. Hopefully that resonates with you if you were thinking about a specific ancestor, but if not, you know, sometimes like our families go back way way farther than who we knew in this life, so maybe someone else is reaching out to you and they're trying to tell you a message about knowing your worth or like having self-esteem. Oh, you got a lot. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you can see them all. I'm gonna start stacking them. A king, okay, so you know they knew their shit. Let's go over these. So you have the rescuer in reverse. Assumes that the rescued will reciprocate. Keeps the rescued one needy. So we'll see which one it is depending on the rest of this. Networker enhances unity through sharing of information. Engenders social awareness and empathy. That's nice. So they make other people care about, because I think they were so generous that they kind of encourage other people to also be that way. We have the warrior. That's interesting that you got the king and the warrior. It's making me feel like they were very inclusive, like they weren't classist or anything. Strength, skills, discipline. So they were like really smart too. They weren't just really pretty. And also with strength here, I feel like maybe part of their beauty was their body. Like maybe they were very very toned. I don't know. Toughness of will. Okay, so again with the lion, you know, like not, especially Leos. Leos are so stubborn. And then you also got Taurus, which is fixed earth. That's like the most stubborn sign of the zodiac sign. The most stubborn sign of the zodiacs. Yeah, so heroism. So again with the heroism here, like maybe that was kind of part of their downfall, but we'll see more about it. Self-sacrifice, yeah, in conquering the ego. So I feel like maybe they were too generous. Like maybe people took advantage of their kindness. The priest in reverse violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. The wounded child awakens compassion and desire to serve others. Wounded children open the learning path of forgiveness. So maybe they didn't have a very good childhood. Oh, and you also have the knight. So you have the knight and the king. So again, with the classes thing, like I think they're very inclusive. And it also makes me think of people that like, you know, they can hang with the gangster boys and then they can go have tea with the queen. Like they were very charming to like anyone they came across. So the knight in reverse, allegiance to a destructive ruler and prince. Okay, because I was about to say that, romantic delusions. I was like, I don't think this card is about your ancestor. I feel like this card is about someone else. Violates the trust of your spiritual community. So I feel like there was someone in a position of power that like took advantage of their kindness, and they kind of like ended up, like it says here, you know, your allegiance, like they were kind of helping someone who, or like giving a lot of themselves to someone who not only didn't reciprocate it, but like also took advantage of probably not only just them, but like other people too. The king, enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge. That's funny that they're like next to each other. I'm getting the sense that like maybe people saw the bullshit and then like made them the leader, and they were probably a much kinder, charming leader than whoever was in charge ahead of them first. So maybe like they're telling you to like challenge the status quo, kind of. Visionary, capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others, willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. Yeah. That's kind of the sense I'm getting. Like there was someone who kind of took advantage of their kindness. And so they're telling you like, know your worth. And then here it says visionary. So especially because a priest, it says to take advantage of your community. So not just them. I feel like they took advantage of a bunch of people. And I feel like your ancestor was kind of like the visionary. It says, you know, envisioning things that other people can't see. So maybe it was like a hopeless situation. They were like, nah, I got this. Like, I can see it now, kind of. Even if that weren't the case with the wounded child here, maybe like they were a child in this bad community, or whoever this, you know, authority figure was. And so when they grew up, they were like, I'm gonna not be like this person. And then they held that vision and became, you know, a benevolent ruler. Let's go over general advice they want to give you. Guidance. Message. Okay, well, yes, what is the message though? Guidance. Okay, so I'm feeling like they give you a lot of messages. Like, if you're not already in active communication with them, I feel like they probably they send you things, like maybe, yeah, I don't know, I'm not trying to force you to believe anything I believe, but for those of you who do believe in things like that, maybe you receive a lot of, you know, animals, or like a certain flower, repeating numbers. I feel like they've communicated with you before. Guidance, and they're trying to guide you, so that's good. I don't know, I feel like ancestors are always guiding us, but people for some reason are really scared to like contact their ancestors, and it's just so funny to me because you'll have people who will work with demons who are scared to contact their ancestors, and I'm just like, they're here to guide you. Like, you're not gonna get some creepy ancestor. I don't know. Yeah, so they're here to guide you. Freedom, self-esteem, acceptance. So with freedom, maybe you're in a situation similar where like someone's abusing their power, and they're telling you that you have the power. I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. Self-esteem, I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. And acceptance, I am learning to accept the things I cannot change. That's okay. So maybe you are having self-esteem issues with the know your worth. They're trying to tell you that, like, you are beautiful and you are charming, and to kind of work on self-care and self-love. They want you to know your worth. And also freedom. Maybe you're in a situation where you feel trapped, or where you're with like someone who does not have your best interests at heart, and they're kind of telling you to like you have the freedom to get away from those situations. And then you have acceptance. I am learning to accept the things I cannot change. So maybe you have a situation that you okay, I hope it's not a romantic relationship, but because this is the Two of Cups, but it's making me feel like like maybe there was a person you were trying to change for a long time, and then they're just trying to tell you to like accept the fact that you can't. There's also, with the Two of Pentacles in reverse here, there's an imbalance, whether that's your inability to balance like home life and work life, or you know, your relationships and a project, whatever it is, there's like some kind of imbalance. And it might be with the individual here in your relationship. I feel like they're just kind of telling you to accept the fact that you can't change certain things. But you also have the Moon in Libra. It's funny that you got Libra again. A win-win outcome. So I don't think this is like a breakup or anything. I just feel like yeah, there's some kind of I wish I had more information. Let me see, the cloak cards or the light. Okay. The flower. And the dark. Let's go. Okay. So the light is about being a leader. It's about showing people the path through love and through light, obviously. But that's so funny because that's kind of like your ancestor's story, right? Like, people really couldn't see a vision outside of the rule that they were under, and they were like, no, I have the vision, and they led people and they became the king themselves. So I feel like you're also kind of experiencing some issue with freedom and lack of balance. Like, I feel like maybe you're dedicating yourself too much to someone or something that's like taking away your freedom or taking away from you, and you're just kind of being asked to, like, with freedom, it's kind of reminding you, like, you do have the freedom to walk away from it whenever you want. And I feel like it's a win-win situation at the end of the day. I'm thinking of something very specific, but I'm just gonna say it. It's not necessarily your case, but maybe you can draw a metaphor from it, or maybe you can relate. I don't know, some of you. I was thinking about an old relationship I had where I was trying to break up with the person, but the person kept making me like stay. Like, they would beg me to stay, and they're like, no, you can't. And so but like when I reflected on it, like afterwards, after it was all over, it just it really, even though they, you know, would get upset and cry about it, and, you know, whatever, at the end of the day, it was a win-win situation. It was just interesting, because it's like, you don't want me to leave, but then when we hang out, you're on your phone all the time. You don't want me to leave, but then when I'm here, you're like playing video games instead of hanging out with me. So it's kind of like the relationship was over, but they just didn't want to admit it. And so even though they thought they didn't want me to leave, at the end of the day, it was what was best for both of us. And so that's kind of like, I don't know if that was a message for some of you, but that's what it made me think of. Like, even if it seems like it's not the best situation, I feel like it's still a win-win outcome, even if you leave for your own freedom. The flower, that goes back to the self-esteem issues. It's about opening up, being yourself, showing people your true self, kind of blossoming, obviously. I think of Mulan, you know, the cherry blossom metaphor. Is it a cherry blossom? Because they're in China. Is a cherry blossom in all of Asia or just Japan? I don't know. It's a pink flower and it blossoms, and even though it was the last one and it took the longest, it bloomed the prettiest. And that's kind of like the metaphor I think of when I think of the flower. And then the dark is I like that you got both of them. It's kind of like exploring the shadow self, kind of the parts you're uncomfortable with. Yeah, maybe that's tied to this relationship or your self-esteem issues, just some things you have to work through. It's also about letting things run naturally, letting things happen naturally. Basically, yeah, don't worry too much about having to have things done a certain way or having to have things look a certain way. With the acceptance card here, it's just kind of like, let it happen. Let it happen, and it'll probably be a win-win outcome anyway. So, if you are going through some tough shit, everyone has their turn. Welcome to yours. Gather your tired ass up and handle it. And then you need a big fucking hug, squeeze. So I feel like your ancestors are sending you love. They're probably sending you love through messages. So, you know, look into that however that will resonate with you. Because people receive, like, their idea of receiving love is different. So I can't tell you how you're gonna receive it, but you're receiving it. Also, I don't know what you're going through, but it's kind of a shitty time, and they realize that, and they're kind of telling you to, like, take it easy on yourself, but you still have to, like, you know, man up and handle your shit, which sucks, but yeah, you're receiving their guidance, so you're not alone. I'm looking for, like, other messages. And you received number 1. So these have no words on them. You have to read what it is. But they're very interesting messages. Number 1, Undying Ophelia. Releasing despair, emotional retreat. So kind of like whatever... You're going through some shit right now. Sorry this reading wasn't about you, but... yeah, it's just kind of like... It's time to, especially, she's here in the water. That makes me think of the alligator spirit. It kind of retreats into the water. I think the frog is the same. Like, they're animals that are known for retreating into the water, and so they're being used as metaphors to, like, retreat into healing. And so this woman's, like, she's just floating in the water, and so that's what it makes me think of. Releasing despair. The feeling of despair and loneliness can be overwhelming. No matter how hard you try to release negative emotions, you just can't let it go. This card signifies that there are times when we have to take out and reevaluate where we are. Emotions are high, and there's a need to take care of yourself and to take yourself to a quiet place to process all that is going on around you. The water here does not flow, and therefore represents a stagnant period. But there is plenty you can go do to get your energy again. Do not fret, as this is a time of great reflection for you. See this as a time to release all that is no longer required in your life, both physically and emotionally. Yeah, so there's a message there about like letting go. I don't know if I'm guessing it's a relationship, but it might not necessarily be the case. And just like whatever you're letting go of, whatever that death is, you kind of need to recuperate emotionally from it. So you're kind of being asked to like withdraw afterwards and just kind of take care of yourself. If you feel you can no longer see the light at the end of the tunnel, just stop and observe the beauty of the tunnel. The beauty around you, and then putting your own needs first, work to create what it is you need right now. So yeah, I kind of want you to focus on like what it is that you need emotionally, because you might not even know, like maybe you're exhausting so much of your energy into this other situation that you haven't even stopped to think about like what it is that you want, and you're just kind of being asked to like reflect on that, to retreat, get away from whatever whatever's stressing you, and just really reevaluate what it is that you need. So I hope that was helpful. It's pretty short, I think, but yeah, you guys are probably like, yeah right, you weren't shutting the fuck up. But there it is. I hope that was helpful. On to pile 3. Hello, pile that selected not the horse. This isn't reading. I think you're the pig, right? The little piggy. Right? Question mark. I can edit this out. I probably won't. So we're gonna go over their personality, kind of their background, and then we're gonna go over the advice they're giving you. So this is their personality. We have Scorpio and Sagittarius, so we already know this person was very sexy. Probably kind of a, I don't want to say a hard ass, but kind of a feeling I'm getting. Probably didn't trust a lot of people. That's interesting because like Scorpio is a pessimist, but Sagittarius is an optimist. And it just made me think of like the song for a pessimist, I'm pretty optimistic. But yeah. You have the Buffalo Spirit, abundant universe will provide. Be loyal to what you love. Spirit has your back. So maybe this person was very loyal to their loved ones, to the things that they cared about, their job, stuff like that. It could have been a very spiritual person, saying spirit has your back, and the abundant universe will provide. So maybe that was kind of like a lesson that they learned. The thought that the universe will provide. So, damsel, understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. So that's kind of the feeling I was getting with Sagittarius. Just the way she's holding a freaking bow and arrow makes me think of like... Sorry, I just started looking at the animals and I'm like, maybe these are, it's because I had to cover them up. I'm like, maybe these are relevant to your ancestry. Especially the eagle makes me think of Mexico. That's not necessarily the case for you, but I just thought of like the flag. I mean, dogs are pretty common, so maybe this specific breed of dog is like relevant to you. And then the buffalo spirit, that makes me think, it doesn't matter. The point is, maybe those are relevant to your family Maybe your last name has something to do with that, but either way. Yeah, so the idea of, like, relying on yourself and not being the damsel in distress. It also says, inspires you to, so maybe that was something they learned to do. Virgin, fear of intimate union. Scorpio. Scorpio, sorry. So the energy, they don't have to be a Scorpio or a Sagittarius, it's just that energy of, like, the paranoia, not learning to trust anyone. And then you have the Hermit in reverse here, which is withdrawing from society out of fear of negative judgment, refusing to help those in need. I feel like this person was very withdrawn. Very, like they didn't trust people. And it's, I don't know, with the damsel here. Femme fatale, inappropriate use of sensuality, attachment to money and power. Immature Scorpio. Okay, I'm sorry, Scorpios, alright? But, I mean, not all of you are immature, so not all of you are like that. But yeah, the idea that, like, they just didn't trust anyone, even when they were with people. I feel like they kind of manipulated them to, and not even necessarily in a bad way, just kind of like this fear of being yourself, especially here it says with the judgment of others. So maybe they had like this fear that if they were themselves they wouldn't be accepted, so they just kind of like pretended to be someone else, especially with the femme fatale, when you're you know, that could be like emotionally manipulating someone, but it's just more like, it's, I don't know, I'm getting the sense that it's like just lying to someone to get in their favor. You have the child magical, but in reverse. Pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and actions are not required for growth. Yeah, so this is, especially with all these reversals, this is a very, like, stunted energy. I feel like their life kind of, and maybe they grew from it, maybe that was their life lesson, but so far it's just kind of like this message of immaturity, not, I don't know, just like emotionally immature, like the inability to trust anyone and kind of being off by yourself. To the point where you're like manipulating and secluding, you know, like you don't believe in anything. This person was also like really depressed. They weren't just being an asshole. I feel like they were like, maybe something happened to them, especially with Scorpios. I don't know what it is about Scorpios, but y'all always have a fucked up childhood. Like y'all get fucked up early. It's crazy. But with Sagittarius here, it makes me feel like maybe they eventually became an optimist. But there was just like a lot of like disbelief, pessimism, seclusion. They just didn't want to be around people. They didn't trust people. When they were or had to be around people, it was, you know, to manipulate them for their money or for power. Maybe even just to like feel pretty with the femme fatale in reverse. I don't know. There was some kind of issue there. Damsel. It says inspires you to rely on yourself. But I don't know, I'm just not getting that. This, it's so funny, this woman looks just like this woman right here. They're like both orange haired and like red lipped. With the damsel, you know, we all think damsel in distress, but it's also like, maybe when they were younger they were in distress, and like when they got older they were forced kind of to rely on themselves. The mystic revels in intimate union with the divine. So again, I feel like maybe they found God. You know, spirit has your back. They kind of had like a moment where they like found some kind of spiritual practice where they were like, Or even I think of like people who are kind of pessimistic and they like cynically walk into, you know, a psychic a psychic shop, I guess, and then they like get a reading and they're like, holy shit, like they have this whole awakening. That's kind of like the feeling I'm getting. Like maybe they just had a moment. Maybe they weren't necessarily spiritualists themselves, but just they like went to someone and then they, you know, had a moment where they're like, holy shit. And then especially here with the abundant universe will provide, that's the total opposite of like the child magical in reverse. But I still feel like they had a lesson, you know what I mean? Like someone messed them up early and that's why they didn't trust anyone. And then eventually they were like, well, you can be loyal to what you love. But like I don't know, maybe they were on guard afterwards still, but they still learned to like eventually let someone in, you know? Eventually let someone in, yeah, okay. Then you have the father. Talent for creating and supporting life. Positive guiding light within a tribal unit. Huh. Well, because they're your ancestor, I'm presuming eventually they became like a, you know, mother or father or whatever, a parent. But yeah, especially the fact that it says like a guiding light in a tribal unit. It makes me feel like eventually once they found whoever they loved and whoever they could trust, they became like fiercely loyal to that, you know, little tribe of theirs, to the point where like they became a leader and like people like looked up to them. So it's kind of like I feel like maybe a lesson they're trying to teach you is like to not be so pessimistic, to kind of let people in a little. Like there are people out there worthy of your time and attention and love, and you don't have to be like a hermit, or you know, you don't have to manipulate anyone. Like there are people out there who will accept you as you are. Like seriously, I don't understand how anyone can be like, I'm gonna be alone forever. Like there are serial killers who have girlfriends. Like come on, you know what I mean? Like there's no way there's no one out here in this world of like billions of people. I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be alone. There's definitely someone out there, but they're just kind of telling you to have a little bit of faith and patience and companion. So yeah, I feel like this message is about not necessarily a love message, but just this idea of like you don't trust someone, and it's kind of telling you like it's a spooky pals, okay? Even if it's a friend, because it does say pals, to just kind of let someone in a little bit. And you have creativity, which was also in the definition of the father. You have a talent for creating. My gosh, I'm saying. Or at least they had a talent for creating. Maybe there's a talent that runs in your family, like maybe everybody draws, or maybe everybody, you know, can sing. There's some kind of talent there. They're asking you to explore your creative side and to have patience with the universe, especially here where it says like the universe is abundant and will provide. Like that's the message. They're kind of telling you like be patient. What you're asking for is kind of big, so it's in the kitchen cooking and you can't expect it to be done immediately. What the hell are you waiting for? Get that shit done. If you are waiting for a sign, well, here it fucking is. Were you waiting for a sign? Sir, ma'am, them? Yeah. That's funny. And then ask a fucking expert. Don't rely on your friends or the internet. Listen to a damn professional. So maybe some of you yourselves, you know, had some traumatic situation that you might need to go to a professional for. It might not even be something, you know, related to psychology. It could be literally anything. Like maybe you've been trying to learn how to do something in the creative field and you keep asking your friends and they're not very helpful, and you keep trying to learn on videos on the internet, and that's not very helpful either. Like, they're asking you to like reach out to a professional for something. Oh my god, you got 2 shadow cards? I think you're the only one that got 2 shadow cards. You have shit to work through. I know it's only one more than the other ones, but still. Regret. I know that I cannot change the past. And empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of the situation. Okay. I think these are separate messages. It might not be. It could be saying like, you have regret about something and you see that both sides were in the wrong or both sides did something wrong. But with regret, I don't know. Makes you feel like maybe something happened to you in the past and you're kind of upset about it, but they're just telling you like you can't change it. So kind of learn from that and move on with it. And then empathy is I'm open to seeing both sides of the situation. That makes me think of like not letting people in again, kind of like try to see their side and like how are they ever going to get close to you if you never, let them. And I don't know exactly your situation, but basically they're asking you to have sympathy for other people's sides of their situation. If you're being a pessimist and they're asking you to be an optimist, maybe they're asking you to see the optimistic side. 7 of Wands. 7 of Wands is about feeling defensive. Like, you're about a battle. That horse is, like, about to be attacked by all these foxes, coyotes. I'm gonna say coyotes. I feel like that makes more sense. Yeah. Like, you're ready to fight. You're on the defensive, like, so hard right now. And then you have the devil in reverse. That's a good sign. That's showing you, so the devil's, like, addictive behavior. Sorry if you can hear the ice cream man. The devil is addictive behavior, bad behaviors, things we do to kind of avoid our problems. But when it's in reverse, it shows that we're, like, taking the baby steps to letting go of those behaviors. So that's good. I feel like you're on the path to kind of putting your walls down, to not be so defensive. Like, people aren't coyotes, you know what I mean? I feel like you've been thinking about it for a while. And the universe is just kind of asking you to be patient about it. A new start is coming. Yeah, so, like, maybe you're gonna find new friends or new, loved ones. There's a start coming. But you want to be prepared when it comes, you know what I mean? That would suck if, like, the person who is perfect for you walked into your life right now and you were just defensive as fuck. Like, that'd be a missed opportunity. So the universe isn't gonna hand you shit if you're not ready for it. So they're asking you to, like, be ready for it. Make sure you're working on whatever it is that you need to work through, and it might require professional help. The sand is about the ever-changing sands of time. So this is literally about change. I feel like you're gonna undergo a change. With the mirror here, the mirror is about self-reflection. So, I mean, that's pretty obvious. And then the dash is about going through your, like, going and getting your goals no matter what. So I feel like they're asking you to, like, follow through with this, like, hardcore. Please. We have 36 and 12, so they don't have messages on them, which means I have to read them. I'm gonna read 12 first, just because that comes first. It says, drowned pride, letting go and release. You may have experienced recent emotional upheaval, your tears are on the surface, and it is time to start looking ahead. Dwelling on the past and thinking about what could have been will only hold you back. There is part of you which is desperate to let go and move forward, but your disappointment and holding on to the past is stopping you from moving forward. It is time to reveal who you really are. You are not a victim of someone else's emotional control. You are a strong, beautiful person with an abundance of opportunity open to you. Take the first step and release and let go. And be the person you want to be rather than who you feel others expect you to be. Your greatest gift is to show the world that you are not a victim, rather a strong and determined person ready to be the best you can be. Yeah. So I feel like because you don't see that you're like a badass, they're kind of asking you to like reflect and realize like, hey, you kind of are a friggin' badass. But also, this idea of like, you know, being stuck in the past. I feel like your ancestor was also doing that, and so that's kind of like the lesson they want you to learn from their life. Like, don't let the past stop you from, I'm gonna have to like do this reading personally for myself, because I'm like, I wonder what messages my ancestors have from their life lessons. But yeah, I feel like they went through the same thing you're going through. Like, someone may have abused their you know, power in the past or something, and kind of left you scarred, and now you're not trusting people. But it's kind of like you have to release that. Yeah, and then you have 36, which is winter rebirth. Okay, that's awesome. So it's like release and then rebirth. Confidence, ability, and multitasking. The ability to look and feel confident when there is chaos around you is quite an art. However, it shows how much you have grown as a person in the last few years. So again, change. Challenges have made you stronger, and you can hold your head up high and be proud of what you have achieved. You have an air of confidence about you. Others can see it, and they are watching you blossom into a new person, into the person you wish to be. You are protected and connected to your higher self, a beautiful gift. Learn to use it wisely and watch your life expand beautifully. There are messages all around you. Open your eyes to synchronicities. Spirits are talking to you and showing you the way. Yeah. Options did you have? You had patience and creativity. Okay. I was like, did I take the little birds out? The little bats? Yeah, so... Oh, okay, so that's why you received 2. Not because you had a lot of shit to work through, but just because, it's like a combined message of, like, release and rebirth. So that's awesome. I hope you guys found that helpful. I'm sorry if your ancestors called you out. Do not shoot the messenger. Yeah. Thank you, pile 3. Hello, doggy. I was gonna say doggy pile, but I think that's an actual thing. Is that when people, like, stack themselves up on top of each other? Can't remember. But yeah, hello, pile that selected Doge. We have your cards here. So we're going to go over their personality and kind of their background and their history and the lessons that they learned. And then we're going to go over what they want you to take from it. So we have Mars and Pluto. So already we got that sexuality, that masculine energy, that destructiveness potentially. We have the koi fish, there is always enough, and the turtle, slow and steady, which is kind of the opposite energy of Mars and Pluto. We have the judge in reverse, the dilettante, the queen, the lover. Yeah, the lover. I was like, lovers? Question mark? Because, you know, tarot. Let's look this over. And we got this guy. Okay. Sweet. Okay. Choop, choop, choop. So, we have the judge, and that can literally be a judge. Like, maybe that was their job, but it is in reverse, so we'll see. Offering only destructive criticism. So maybe this was just a person who is very, like, unhelpful and just kind of, like, cynical and just saying really mean things just to say them, not to actually be helpful. Misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. So it's possible they were like in a position of power and just kind of abused it. The dilettante delights in the arts without having to be a professional. Alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. You have the queen, also in reverse. Becomes arrogant when authority is challenged, controlling and demanding. I'm getting the feeling, like, it's possible they were an actual judge, but it's just funny because, like, I know someone whose parent was like that, and they were also an actual judge, so it's possible they were both. Like, maybe they were a judge who was abusing their power, or maybe they were a person who was, like, an authority figure that was just, like, you have to do things my way, and this is how it's done all the time. And maybe they would do something, you know, like, hypocritically that went against what their way was, and they were like, whatever, you can't challenge my authority. Like, they were very, especially here with Mars and Pluto, just this, like, masculine, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a man, but just, like, this authority figure that was, like, destructive and, like, angry and possibly, I don't know, like, demanding even. And probably didn't hold themselves to the same standards. Then you have Lover in reverse. Obsessive passion that harms others. Self-destructive devotion. So either, like, this energy carried into their love life, or their love life went to shit, and so they became an asshole. I'm not sure. Let's see what more messages we can get. The shapeshifter in reverse. Projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. Yeah, so again, just the hypocrite vibes, right? Like, oh, it serves me to be this way. You know, I'm thinking of those people that are, like, conservative, and they're like, I'm against abortions, but then they cheat on their wives and they want the other woman to have an abortion. Like, you guys are, I'm getting, like, a heavy hypocrite energy. It's okay, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to, like, talk shit about your ancestors. It's just, like, they either died being shitty and they're trying to teach you a lesson from it, or they learned a lesson in this life, which hopefully that was the case, and it's not always the case, unfortunately. But regardless, they're trying to tell you, like, hey, this is the lesson that either I learned or I wish I had learned, so take it with you. So far, yeah, shapeshifter, the hypocrite vibes. Also, like, maybe they were really, like, abusive to their lover or very, like, authoritative to their family, but then they would go to work and they were, like, you know, oh, so charming and so happy and so pretty, like they would shape who they were to convenience them. Companion. Betrayal by misusing confidences, loss of personal identity. So that makes me think, like, I feel like something went wrong in their love life, and then they kind of, like, just became a bitter person. Especially with Mars and Pluto, that's not, like, Venus energy, that's, like, you know, probably not the best of luck. Betrayal by misusing confidences, that's interesting. Okay, so loss of personal identity makes me feel like either they like, especially here it says obsessive passion with that harms others. Kind of like they became like lost in this person, like obsessed in their love life, and then it kind of like didn't work out for them. Also misusing confidences, like maybe it's possible that, you know, maybe they just weren't the best partner. Passion that harms others. I hope they weren't abusive, because it makes, especially where it says, like, obsessive passion. I would hate to describe, like, abuse as passion, but, especially with Mars and Pluto here, it just feels like, I don't know, like, it wasn't a very good situation for the people who had to follow whatever this individual had to say. Community, interesting. Play and temptation. As unfortunate as this is, you know, I don't want it to like, you know, even when there is a bad person or someone who does bad things, like, they still have lessons to teach you, and I just feel like community is one of them. Like, if you could be the positive side of the shapeshifter is kind of like here in reverse. It's kind of saying, like, you know, doing whatever you want or being whoever you need to be to serve your personal agenda, versus, like, with community, it makes me think, like, understanding that if you can get your community to like you, that it'll benefit you when you need it to, if that makes sense. Unfortunately, this person misused, you know, that trust of the community, but I'm still getting the sense, like, that's a lesson. Like, if you can get people to trust you and to like you and to find you charming, then when you get to a situation where you need them to, like, turn against someone, or unfortunately, or when you need them to provide you with something, especially with the there is always enough card, like, I feel like they'll have your back. And that was something that they learned. Again, unfortunately, they misused it, but just kind of, like, learning to get your community to have your back will benefit you. Play, I feel like this person didn't play a lot. This person wasn't very playful. They weren't very happy. So just kind of, like, maybe you're a little more on the serious side, and they're kind of telling you, like, they wish they had relaxed a little bit, I guess. And then temptation, maybe I'm not sure, I'll have to see the other cards, but I'm guessing they're kind of encouraging you to give in to your temptations. It's also, it makes me feel like, it makes me think of those you know, people in organized religions where they're like, you have to do this, and you can't do that, and you can't do that, and you can't do that, and you can't do that. And so I feel like this person, like, whatever their belief system was, or whatever they, like, had shapeshifted into being, like, it was kind of like they set a bunch of rules for themselves, which they eventually broke, because, you know, we were getting hypocrite messages earlier, but it's kind of like, even when they did break them, they didn't enjoy it, because they felt guilty about, like, not following these ridiculous rules, and it's kind of just telling you, like, play and give into temptation, like, and there's, you know, I don't know, obviously don't hurt anybody, but just the idea that, like, I don't know, man, I'm not trying to call out any religious structure, but I think we all know who I'm talking about. There's just fucking, I don't know, there's religions that have all these rules, and they don't let you be, and, you know, maybe that was the case, like, here where it says companion, there's 2 women. So maybe it was, like, this person was gay, you know, and it's possible that, like, their religion or, like, their social status or structure, like, stopped them from giving into temptation. And, like, even though they were, like, crazy in love with this person, like, because they had put out this image, or because they were in a position of power where people are looking at them, they couldn't, you know, be with this individual that they loved. So it's kind of like, maybe that's a lesson, like, given to temptation, because, like, could you imagine if you, like, died because you were following these religious rules and then that religion wasn't even correct? Like, that would suck. So it's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of the lesson there. You have adversity. I accept the challenges. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. Judgment. Yo, this person. Okay, so I feel like judgment of other people, being judgmental, maybe literally being a judge. Like, this is just heavy in this person's life, but also, like, that's kind of the message that's translating into your life. Like, maybe you're fearing judgment, and it says, I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. So kind of like accepting other people's points of view and that you can't change them, and just kind of not worrying so much about other people's judgment. And maybe that's part of your challenge. Maybe, you know, you're the gay one and you're born into a religious family that's kind of telling you, like, you can't do this, you can't do that. Whatever the situation may be. Maybe you're not, you know, queer, which is fine. Maybe you're just, you know, dressing a certain way and that upsets your family. And it's kind of like, give into that. Like, do what you want to do, play, live a little, like, who gives a fuck? And if you get your community to like you, when you do break your community's rules, they probably won't care that much, because they'll be like, but that person had my back that one time, or but that person's really nice, so when they are, you know, excuse me, just this idea of, like, forming bonds with your community, so then when you do something that they might not like they'll probably have your back. Yeah, and so you won't have to fear their judgment because they'll be on your side. And if they do, you know, choose to challenge you, that's one of the best ways to learn. That's a lesson for you in this life. So you received the Knight of Wands. Again, just like Martian energy. And then oh my god, I swear I did not fucking... Oh my god. I know there's people out there who think, like, because you're not live shuffling, that you're cherry picking. That is so much work. I would never search through all my decks to find fucking cards that are the same. Like, I don't understand who does that. That's like a waste of my time. It's literally easier to randomize it. But anyway, I swear, like, obviously I don't think this is random. I think this is a spiritual message from your ancestors. But, oh my gosh, that's just crazy. Like, judgment. You're just... the fear of judgment, you might even be judging other people or prejudging them, thinking that they're gonna behave a certain way. This idea, like, again, maybe literally a judge, but the judgment card itself talks about your life purpose. You don't have one purpose, you have multiple purposes, so this is one of your purposes, and it's kind of like, you can't avoid it. It's just something that has to be done. So whatever it is, they're just kind of telling you, like, this is your lesson, and these are the lessons that I learned that you can apply so you can learn this lesson. I don't know if that makes any sense. So many lessons, but yeah, I just this big fear of judgment. Holy crap. I feel like that, like, the judgment of others, or even the potential judgment of others, is kind of really ruling your life right now, and they're kind of, like, telling you to step away from that. The Knight of Wands energy is someone who, like, takes charge, goes into it. I'm pretty sure that might be the Knight of Swords, but he's, like, the second fastest. Like, he's ready to go. Also reminds me of Aries fire energy, Mars, just this, like, masculine, like, I'm on top of my shit energy. Yeah, so maybe that's kind of what they want you to embody right now. You might be kind of, like, coy about it, and they're just kind of like, nah, man, like, take that masculine energy, like, fucking authority figure type energy and get back into it. And then you have a time for healing. So yeah, especially, like, I doubt you have the fear of judgment randomly, right? Like, there's something that happened, and not only a time for healing, like, whatever trauma you may have, but also, I'm sure you've heard ancestral healing. Like, I think it's possible that this person died, not having learned that lesson. And, because I don't see, like, in the other cards, when I was reading them, it was, like, their mistakes, and then kind of, like, when they learned from it. And this is just kind of, like, your mistakes. Not yours, but, like, your ancestors' mistakes, you know, like, just through and through. And so I'm kind of thinking, like, because they didn't accomplish what they needed to, they're asking you to do it. And it sucks, because, like I said, it's something that has to be done regardless. And so what happens is if you don't fix it in this life, it's just gonna carry on to your children or to, you know, your nieces and nephews if you choose not to have children. So like if you don't heal it, someone else is gonna have to. And if you can just get it out of the way in this life, you can make room for more lessons. Unfortunately, right, like the reward for work is more work. But basically it's time to heal whatever happened here. And I think your ancestors are kind of asking you to be a part of that. You think someone is lying? They are. Okay. So you have some kind of like suspicion about someone or something. Maybe even in your community. I don't know. That's like a random message. That happens sometimes. Spirits want to tell us multiple things. So, they're just letting you know, like, there's someone who's a lion person and you know. And that's also another message to, like, trust your gut a little bit. Like, if you've been kind of thinking that they've been lying to you, it's like, yeah, trust that little voice. Then you have dollar signs. And it says, make it rain. Again, maybe some of you literally want to be judges, but, there's a message about money there for you, which is funny. It can also be like a strip club reference, you know, make money rain, like go have fun. You don't necessarily have to go to a strip club, but just go have fun, spend some money, winning. Okay, your ancestors are very short. Like they're lying, they are. Make it rain, dollar signs, and then this one's like winning. You got a good thing going, don't ruin that shit. Okay. So I feel like your community already kind of likes you right now. I don't know. Maybe that's a message about community. Maybe that's just something else. Maybe like you're just in a really good point in your life right now, and this is the thing that's stopping you from having from enjoying stuff or like from having a good time. And it's kind of like don't let this situation ruin the good shit that's happening right now. You have the change. Just about change. Who would have thunk it? The windy, the twin, interesting, makes me think of the companion card, and then you have the sweet. Okay. So the sweet is literally about being sweet. Just like the change is about change. But the sweet also can indicate a new lover. And with the twins there, that makes me think of like a soulmate. Kind of like a twin flame, or maybe you're literally a twin. But I think it's more a message about not necessarily a twin flame. I'm not even sure I believe in that concept yet, but just like a soulmate, someone you really care about, someone you really connect to. You guys are very similar, and it's just like I feel like you're gonna get a romantic partner. I don't know, man. It's kind of like saying to kind of I'm not, oh my god, it's so difficult, right? Because like I don't know your individual situation, and I don't want to encourage you to do something based off of a general reading, so take what resonates, blah blah blah. But I'm getting the feeling that if you don't deal with this situation now, like you're gonna find a partner, and then you're gonna have to deal with the situation then. And it's gonna be kind of a bigger problem, like whatever that may be, you know. I'm pretty sure not everyone who chose this pile is queer, but just kind of like let's say you're an atheist and your family's really religious, or let's say I don't know, like there's something to be revealed, you know, that you're scared of judgment on, and it just feels like if you don't deal with it now, like eventually you're gonna have a partner, and then you're gonna have your partner deal with it, which isn't fair to them. So they're kind of like asking you to handle it now so that you can make room for this partner. And with the change, it just makes me feel like the change is gonna happen anyway. Yeah. The windy. Hold on. So Wendy's like about trust, honesty, and the law, which is kind of funny. Because again, this idea of like literally being a judge. So yeah, the windy, again, like I said, it could be law, it could be literal law, it could be trusting someone, talking about your partner, but it could also mean watching your words. So be careful how you phrase things or information when you present it to someone. Be careful to not get into arguments. And also it means completion, so that is a positive thing because it might mean that this lesson will finally be learned, it'll be completed. And so you have a kind of like a shadow message here. I have to read from the book because it literally doesn't have any words on it. Number 3, the mirror in the candlelight. Let your light shine. So just kind of, for some of you that might be a literal message from your ancestors asking you to do scrying in mirrors. But, you know, if you're not advanced or into that, that's fine. Why do you not see the light shining within you as others do? What are you afraid of revealing, which is stopping you from discovering your true potential? The time has come to remove the mask you show the world and to be your true self. You feel the need to protect yourself from emotional harm, but you have nothing to fear from stepping into the limelight, as things can only change for the better. If you are feeling blocked, with a little effort, you can push through this difficult period in your life and conquer whatever is holding you back. You're on the brink of change. You just need the encouragement and support to know that you are heading in the right path. The light ahead of you shines brightly, and opportunities are calling. Don't allow fear of the unknown to stand in your way. Embrace the challenges ahead. They will be making of you. They will be the making of you. I'm sorry. So yeah. Again, afraid of revealing this information, whatever that information may be. And you're just kind of being told, like, it's your time. Let's go. You gotta heal this trauma. I know it sucks, but I do see the windy here, so I feel like you will do it successfully. Best of luck to you, Pile 4. I hope that was helpful. Don't forget to thank your ancestors. Leave them chocolate, coffee, flowers, a candle, literally anything they liked if you know which ancestors are talking to you. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Goodbye.